Alright, so OP04 is coming out. It's just around the corner. It's supposed to release September 22nd. It's currently September 9th. But pre-release happens a week before, so September 15th. So usually, even with pre-release, like some people do get their boxes a little early. So this week, I'm sure people will start to get their pre-orders. So we're looking at OP04 and thought I'd go over all the cards that are in the set and just going over their effects and translations and whatnot. So we'll start with we'll do an in-depth video on the leaders specifically, but right now we'll go color by color. It's not uploaded on the English version of the One Piece card game site, but the Japanese version does have the translations. So let's get started. So we'll start with the red cards, and in red we have Vivi, which is a blue and red leader. It's kind of interesting because she has 5,000 power and 5 life, which is the first time that they've had that going on, because typically with a multicolored leader they start off with 4 life. Like if you look at your red green Law, red green Luffy, like all the dual color leaders, they all have 4 life to offset the dual color gain. So with Vivi, she gets 5 life, but the downside is she can attack. So there's not that many leaders that are unable to attack, but Vivi is one of them. And her effect is activate main once per turn. You can pay 2 Dawn and draw 1 card, and up to one of your characters gains rush during this turn. So if you play a big strong like character, like if you were to put down like a Whitebeard or something, you can give that character rush, which could come in handy, but the cost to play this effect is quite high because it is 2 Dawn. But I mean, you get to draw a card. You're looking at the standings of this PV deck in the Japanese format. It hasn't been doing that well. There seems to be some stronger colors out there, but you never know because the English versions are quite different. So we'll see how it goes. And this is actually the alternate art of that card, which OP04 has its own new type of art style for the alternate arts. Personally, this is my favorite style. I like the OP03 ones. I do like the up close manga face ones, but like this is just fantastic. Like you can see the straw hats in the background, and we take a look at all the other leaders. We'll look at that later. But so the first character we got is Igaram. So activate main. You may rest this character and give your one active leader minus 5,000 power during this turn. And look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal an Alabasta type and add it to your hand. So it's a searcher. The minus 5,000 to your leader, it doesn't really matter because you're not able to attack with BB anyways. So this is best, like you're only going to use this card in a BB deck because it's also searching for Alabasta. So minusing 5,000 on BB isn't really that big of a deal. So it's basically just a 2-cost searcher. Then you got Usopp. This is one of the cards that I'm personally interested in playing because in OP01 there's a card similar, Caribou, where if on KO you KO your opponent's character with 4,000 power or less. Now the thing with that card is since it's on, like if your opponent attacks you during their turn and your Caribou gets knocked out, if they even attach like 1 Dawn to any of their 4K characters, it kind of protects that character from being knocked out because that character is now considered like 5,000 power, right, with that extra Dawn. The thing about this card is on KO, you KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a 5,000 base power or less. So that's this value right here. So it doesn't matter how many Dawn they attach, any of their 5K characters will get knocked out. So I think this is a pretty strong card to have. And then you got Karu. 1 cost 2,000. It's kind of like that Nami from the starter deck where you give a rested Dawn, or like Haruda, give a rested Dawn to your Alabasta type character. But the thing with Nami and Haruta is it's not restricted. So you can give that rested Dawn to any character, whereas this one is only to the Alabasta type characters. And then you got Kung Fu Jugon. Like, this guy is hella cute, but like this effect is very specific. I get that they did it because it fits the theme of the character, and like that's awesome, but it's probably not going to see a lot of play because in order for you to get the blocker, you have to have more than one Kung Fu Jugon on the board. So at that point, it doesn't really make any sense because, like, let's say you have two and then one of them gets knocked out, the other one doesn't even have blocker. Like, you'd rather just play a one-cost chopper blocker from the starter deck. Then you got Koza. So Koza's effect, 3-cost 3k power. When attacking, you may give your active leader minus 5,000 during this turn, and then this character gains plus 2,000 until the start of the next turn. So again, that minus 5,000 doesn't really do much to you when you're minusing it on BV, but you gain plus 2k until the start of your next turn. So it makes Koza a little harder to knock out, and it's a 2k. It's a 2k counter, so can't go wrong with that. You got Sanji. Now we'll take a look at the other card that is parallel to this card, but this leg over here, that is a little Easter egg. That's Bon Clay's leg during his battle with Sanji, and there's actually a Bon Clay card in this set where you can see Sanji's leg sticking out. So when you put them side by side, it's like a full picture. But yeah, it's just a one-cost vanilla. Probably gonna be useful in like a Zoro deck or something, somewhere where you can use a Nami searcher. It's gonna just replace a Sunny, and it's a 1k counter, so pretty standard. Then you got Chaka. So Chaka's effect is Dawn times 1 when attacking. If your leader is Vivi, give up to one of your characters minus 3k power during this turn, then KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a 0 power or less. So I think this is very, very neat because you can minus 3k on like one character and knock it out. Like if it's a buggy or something, you can put minus 3k and knock it out. Or you can minus 3k on like another card, maybe it's like a 6k power or something, and then that brings it down into Robin's range to knock it out with her ability or some of the other cards, because Red has a lot of cards that KO characters by lowering their cost. So I think this would fit well. Only issue is it is leader locked, so you have to use it in the VV deck. It says your leader is Nefeltari VV. But yeah, I still think it's a pretty strong card in this deck. Super Spot build Duck Troop. So this is Karu's whole gang. When attacking, you may give your one active leader minus 5k. Again, doesn't really matter. And then return this character to the owner's hand at the end of the turn. So it's kind of interesting because you can basically, let's say, put it like you can attack with it and then bring it back to your hand to keep it as a 2k counter instead of like risking getting it knocked out or it just sitting on the board or something. So especially paired with Vivi's rush ability, like you can attack with it in the same turn and then put it back into your hand and keep it as a 2k counter for your defense. So I think it's kind of interesting. Then you got Tony Chopper. So on play up to one animal type character with 3,000 power or less from your hand. So there's quite a few characters now that have the animal effect, but it is specific. I don't know if it'll see a lot of play because your whole deck would have to have a lot more animal characters in it, which I don't know if that's the strongest way to build. And then you got Nami. 2 cost 3,000 power in her Alabasta outfit. When attacking, reveal one card from the top of your deck. If the card happens to be a character with 6k or more, this character gains plus 3,000 power during this turn, then place the revealed card at the bottom of the deck. So it is actually quite an interesting ability. We actually haven't really seen this type of ability before. You're basically searching for a card. Well, it's the first card on the deck, and if it happens to be a very strong character, you put that character at the bottom of your deck. and then this character gains plus 3k. Now, is it going to be useful? I don't really think so, because red decks, there's not that many red decks that have high powered characters, so the chances of you actually getting the card that you're looking for off of one search is pretty low, I feel. And then you're gonna have to put that card at the bottom of your deck, not even to your hand. So I feel like this card won't see that much play. Then we got Nefeltari Cobra, 2 cost, 0 power. Your turn, all of your Alabaster characters other than this gain plus 1000. So that could be useful. It's a 1k counter. Maybe some cards might want to do that if you have your whole board filled up. You're trying to close out, like, it could be pretty useful. And then you've got Pell, Dawn ×1 when attacking. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 4000 power or less. So it's kind of like a one stronger Nico Robin. Well, Robin is 3 cost 4k and knocks out a 3k power or less, whereas Pell knocks out 4k power or less, but it's a 5 cost for 6, and it's the one of the super rares in red for this set. So it does come with an alternate art, and this is the parallel right here. Looks pretty good. It's got his sword and everything, and you can see his like devil fruit in the back. Like it's badass. And you got Luffy. So this Luffy card is actually what is on the set here, the front of the set. And it is an 8 cost, 9000 power with Banish. So Banish is quite interesting because usually when your opponent attacks you for life, sometimes you don't mind taking the life because it gives you an extra card in hand. When you get hit with Banish, that card just goes to trash, and you don't get to activate its trigger if it has one. So it can be pretty deadly, especially closing out games. You're not really giving your opponent an extra attack. Paired with BB's rush ability, like it could be pretty good. Because you could play it for 8, use BB's 2 cost, draw a card, give this guy rush. Could be pretty nasty. And you got Roronoa Zoro. I was hoping this one would have gotten a parallel, but it looks pretty good on its own, to be honest. 5 cost 6k plus 1k power. It's basically just a really strong Otama because it's minus 2k. Will it replace Otama? I don't think so, because Otama is just a 1 cost and it's a 2k counter. So the thing with the minusing power is, like, when you play a card that minuses power, you also have to like some of the event cards that like KO stuff, like Jet Pistol and stuff, you also have to have enough Dawn to do that. So when you play an Otama, like an Otama plus Jet Pistol combo, you minus 2k, and then you have a 6k attack. Sorry, you can like attack a character with 6k and knock them out, basically. But so you minus an 8k character down to 6, and then you can KO them, and that you're only using up 5 Dawn to do that. But with Zoro, like, if you play Zoro and then Jet Pistol, like, you're only left with 1 more Dawn. You can't even use BB's ability. It's pretty restricted in that sense. So don't know if you'll see that much play on this one. And then we got the event card. So Bad Manners Kit Course. You can see Sanji serving up this guy over here. So it's a counter card. You may trash 1 card from your hand. Up to one of your leader or characters gain plus 3k during this battle. So it's like basically a guard point, except you don't pay a Dawn, you just trash a card instead. And then it has a trigger, so give up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters minus 3k during this turn. So not bad. I feel like this can be included in any red deck. Happiness Punch. The counter is give up to one of your opponent's leader or character cards minus 2k during this turn. Then if your leader is active, give up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters minus 1k during this turn. So the during this turn thing is pretty strong. And this is the scene in the manga where it was post crocodile fight and they're all like bathing together, and then you can see the guys peeking over the top of the divider there. So yeah, pretty decent counter event. And then this is a leader locked one, well, type locked one, but Vivi's the only Alabasta leader right now. So give up. Actually, I don't know. I think Crocodile might have Alabasta too. So, but he's not a red card. So yeah, it's locked to Vivi. So give up to 2 of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 during this turn. Like that's pretty strong. There's an event card in purple, I believe, called Hell's Judgment, where you also do like, I think it's a minus 3k on two characters or leaders during the turn. So it's pretty strong. And then you got the secret rare. So this is one of 2 secret rares in the set. I think the art looks fantastic. The parallel on this is great as well. Could flip to that. Like, just looks great. And the effect is really strong. So all of your red characters with a cost of 3 or more, other than this one, gain rush. That means you can attack on the turn which it's played. Now the problem is it's a 7 cost, so on the turn you play it, like you can only maybe play a 3 cost character and give that rush, but nothing more than that. So then you'll have to hope it survives the next turn. But this card is like, when your opponent sees this, they're gonna want to get rid of it right away. It's on site. So you got 4k power on this, and that's not that high, so it's pretty easily KOable. So it's an interesting card. If you can get it to work, maybe it'll be useful. It does have a 1k counter, so it's not completely dead in your hand. But yeah, so I believe that's, oh yeah, and then you got this Edward 9-gate. This is just one of the special cards in the set, and it's got like Whitebeard looking just so dead in the eyes there, like but yeah, this is one of the special cards. It's a good looking card, but it's basically a reprint of OP02 just with different artwork. So this is the Whitebeard that's restricted in North America. You can only have one in your deck. It gives, when you play it, your leader gains plus 2k until the start of your next turn. And then when attacking, if you put 2 Dawn on it, you can KO up to one of your opponent's 3k power or less. So pretty strong card there. But yeah, that'll wrap up the red cards. And then I'll see you guys in the next video talking about the other colors.